Hello to all the Atlanta United fans. My name is Jurgen Damm, and you are watching Scarves and Spike, an Atlanta United podcast.
Scars and Spikes match review podcast, as we take a look back at Atlanta United's 1-1 draw against Toronto FC at BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario. Sydney and Henry with you. Tyler perhaps in a little bit, Tommy perhaps in a little bit, but Henry, just the two of us now as we talked about it on our 3 takeaways, which you all should have seen by now on YouTube or listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeart. Hint, hint. But we talked about it, Henry, during our 3 takeaways. It's kind of hard to celebrate a draw for Atlanta United. Of course, you leave it late, you kind of rescue a point at the end through that penalty. But at this stage, you need wins. So yes, at least you walk away with something from the match against TFC, going into 3 straight home matches against Chicago, Nashville, and Seattle. But I don't know. I don't know. How do you feel? I'm just still a little flat. I don't know if your feelings have changed since we did the takeaways at all.
I mean, 24 hours later, we look at this, and it still, to me, is a case of this team doesn't need 1 point. It needs 3. You know what I'm saying? And so as far as the result, I don't really think my feelings have changed. But when we look at the game beyond that, and we look at some of the stuff that we saw from, Jayden Hibbert, who was really good in his first MLS start, hi, Tyler.
Hello.
This is Tyler.
Yeah. Gave my eyes a break today.
Yes.
That's fair. That's a good idea. But your eyes didn't get a break from Atlanta United. Oh, there you go.
Well played.
No. but going back to that, Jayden Hibbert, that was a positive. Seeing some more of Luke Brennan, who we'd gotten kind of flashes of before, and then the words of praise that Dyla had for him afterwards, calling him one of the best 19-year-old wingers in the country, and someone he praised his speed. He praised the play that led to a penalty, which was a little bit of the dark arts. We're talking about it. That's probably not a contact where he
plays through it on the training ground.
Yeah, I mean that's not like, oh my gosh, they took his knee off. It's like, man, okay, you probably like grazed his knee a little bit, like maybe like kind of, and he kind of sells the rest of it, which it's part of the game, right? And it was a big part of the game because that was the difference between 0 points and 1 point, which is still, we said you don't need 1 point, you need 3, but a draw is better than a loss, I guess. So I'll take it.
I want to hit on Omer's take in the chat. Omer saying, just weird that people are hopeful after this match. The team didn't play much better than the DC United game when people acted like the world was going to end. I guess, Tyler, you're coming in just now a few minutes ago. I mean, I disagree with that take. I thought it was better for Atlanta United. I mean, you kind of, it's kind of a little bar after watching the DC United match, but at least you generated something. I don't know if it was bad at all. You just, you generated something at least. And maybe on another day, a couple of those go in. But, I mean, Atlanta United, we know 2025, none of those go in.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was marginally better in terms of like just how they played. They did create some chances. The first half was exponentially better than the second half.
Oh yeah,
barring the the very late game shenanigans / penalty, which I think is great. It's part of the game. Atlanta United has needed more of that since 2019. It also makes my heart incredibly happy that over the past 24 hours, all the hype and all the things that we've said about a lot of these twos players and young kids and everything else, people are like seeing it. Jayden Hibbert, I thought was amazing yesterday. The goal, man, Henry, you got frozen in a very unfortunate position. Sorry, you have to go back and watch that later.
Yeah.
Oh
But
no.
no, Jayden Hibbert, I thought did amazing. The one goal that went in, I mean, there's nothing he
Not
could
his
do.
fault.
Nothing he could do. He made a handful of really good saves. Like you said, Luke Brennan came in and did what Luke Brennan does, what we've hyped him up to be. He still needs to be fine-tuned, but
Yeah.
I like what he brings, and that's energy. Efrain, I thought, was pretty solid. So, like, a lot of the young guys showed out yesterday. Look, Latte Lath has a goal called back for, I mean, it was offside. It just sucks that it was offside because he needed it. I'm glad he got the penalty later, but I thought the team as a whole did play somewhat better yesterday, but I got to pump the brakes there because it was still not good enough. It was
Right,
ugly.
right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, let's talk about Hibbert. I mean, kind of gets the call, not last second, but kind of late on that he is starting in place for Brad Gazan, and had a chance to talk to him after the match, and talk about how Brad Gazan has been a mentor to him, just really in his corner and all of that. How Tyler, you're just talking about with Atlanta United too, the help that he's gotten from Steve Cook, Lewis Sharp, the Atlanta United 2 goalkeeping coach, how they have been helpful in his development. Certainly the loan move he received to the Birmingham Legion in 2024 was part of that. So it's just sort of the states coalescing, coming together. And again, just a good performance for him. 4 saves on the night. I feel like 2 of them stood out more than the others, especially the save against Teo Coriano in the 71st minute. I think Mike Conti called that out, not next. I certainly agree that keeps it letting in that, and then you have half a chance to really not only draw, but get a win. Ultimately, you do draw, but that certainly was instrumental in the draw. I'm going to ask you guys this. Maybe Henry, start with you. Initial knee-jerk reaction with a Wednesday match coming around the corner. Does Jayden Hibbert start in place of Brad Gazan? Yes, no, and why?
Yes.
You think so?
Because after a game where he had to make, it was 4 saves, but they were 4 very key, very, very good saves that weren't, I want to say they weren't very simple. You know what I'm saying? He had the dive, he had the stretch. And besides, I mean, other than the saves, he was also very solid on the ball, which is important for the way that this team likes to build up. He didn't look anxious when Toronto came in and started pressuring him in his box. He didn't make any silly mistakes with the ball at his feet, and that's the important thing, because this team has been riddled by mistakes from more experienced players this season. And he gets his start, right? It's his first MLS start. He's 20 years old, and he doesn't make any big mistakes in a difficult position, as difficult as it is for goalkeepers, right? Because goalkeepers rarely ever really get credit. I want to say, like, they're kind of in the worst situation when it comes to people evaluating performances. So it's like, if they concede a goal, everyone looks at the goalkeeper, right? But this time it's like, it's I mean, the one goal that he concedes, I think we can all agree it's not really his fault. It's off a corner kick where no one was marking the guy that jumped to head the ball. I mean, actually, sorry, Tristan Miyamba was marking him, but all 5 feet of him are not going to stop a guy who is
5'5".
Sorry,
5'5". Let's be
sorry,
fair.
I left the 5 inches off. But I mean, that's not his fault. You can't blame him for that. And then the rest of the game, he was very solid. And so I'm going to say yes, he should start. First of all, you want to give Brad a little bit more time to recover.
Yeah.
You want that to heal fully. I mean, you don't want him to potentially get hurt even worse if he's in another collision in that game, God forbid, or something like that. And I mean, I think unless Hibbert shows that he's like absolutely not capable of playing, like he just has a bunch of blunders, I would say that it's fine to rely on him a little bit for that. He's going to be your future anyways.
Yeah.
Brad can only last you so long. And so I would start him at least for this Wednesday game.
What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah.
Does Jayden Hibbert get the start
Yeah.
on Wednesday?
I think even if you were to take away the issue with Brad's injury, I think Jayden Hibbert showed why he is being looked at to be the future goalkeeper of the club. I mean, you said all the things earlier. I mean, we've had a couple of articles up that have kind of chronicled his journey with Atlanta United over the past couple of seasons. So if y'all haven't read those, go check them out on the website. Like they're really deep, really good. But the guy is incredibly athletic, like incredibly athletic.
Yeah.
He spends so much time in the gym, it's ridiculous. And he just takes it very seriously. He enjoys it. He's one of those that just like enjoys, the fitness kind of vibe, the working out all the time. And for a goalkeeper, I mean, you saw it last night. The saves that he made, like you mentioned earlier, they were not kind of run of the mill saves. They were in the air, outstretched, having to quick parry things away. I mean, they were tough. So I think he earned some more confidence. And I think he showed, again, a lot of the fans that maybe don't necessarily pay attention to the twos, why we've been hyping him up so much. So that you take that, then you couple it with the fact that Brad Guzan just had surgery on his face.
Well,
He doesn't need to.
That's what masks are for, though.
Yeah. He doesn't need to be playing though. Like he just needs to take a break. Hibbert needs to have his moment. Dylan Hibbert, natural athlete. One of the things he told me last year, yes, absolute natural athlete. When he went to Birmingham last year for that very short stint, I talked to him right when he got back, and he said, one of the biggest things I focused on when I was playing over there and all the practices I went to was I made myself play with my weaker foot. I made myself do it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be more comfortable on the ball with both feet, be able to play with both feet in kind of rapid fire moments. And Henry, you talked about how he was very calm and collected on the ball. And that's one of the things that he worked on. And he makes it a point to work on and constantly improve himself in the things that he as a goalkeeper can improve. So, I mean, I just think, you've got a well-rounded young man who is being coached by some of the best goalkeepers and goalkeeping coaches in MLS. I feel like you're looking at a, Slonina type situation with Hibbert. I want him locked down at Atlanta United.
Interesting. Do you see that? Do you see parallels between him and Slonina? Who, I mean, we haven't heard a lot about Slonina in the past few years, I think. Like,
no, I mean, I think he has the capability to draw interest. From anywhere. But I really hope that Atlanta, really offers him something to keep him here.
So here's my take. I think, and this is going to be like the number one. First, let me ask you guys this: does Brad Guzan make all 4 of those saves against Toronto FC? Yes or no?
I'd have to watch him back, but I think there's at least one that he doesn't make. I agree. One where Hibbert really needs to stretch, and it's like going up. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm trying to describe it, but there's one where like absolutely he just stretched, and I just don't think Brad gets there in time.
No, and that just speaks to the youth. That just speaks to how much more mobile I think he is than Brad Guzan. Look, I mean, this is going to be a debate all the way up until kickoff on Wednesday, or until we see the lineups on Wednesday. I mean, the battle lines are probably already being drawn right now. Brad Guzan versus Jayden Hibbert. Season's over, season's not over. I feel like that last part of the equation is going to inform not just the decision that Ronnie Dylan makes, but inform sort of the conversation that fans will have in regards to, okay, should Jayden Hibbert be the starter, be your number one keeper the rest of the way, with Brad Guzan pretty much essentially done his career, it feels like, after the season? Or do you just stay with Brad Guzan? To me, and I'm not saying this will happen, I don't have any knowledge. To me, I think you do see Brad Guzan on Wednesday. And that's just me. Again, if Hibbert starts, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's just my vantage point. That's just my thought process going into this. Now, Leagues Cup is coming up, and Gray said in the chat, he's talking about Leagues Cup. He's your keeper in Leagues Cup, of course, and that gives you a little bit more opportunity to showcase yourself, to show, hey, I have the ability, I have the, what it takes to be a keeper, number one keeper, not just for Atlanta United, but in MLS. But great, going back to his comment in the chat saying that, he should play all the games up until Leagues Cup, and Brad Gazan should play Leagues Cup. So sort of flip-flopping what I was just saying. Then Gray adding Dane St. Clair, best player comparison. So you have, I do want to say this. You don't want to make too much out of one start, right? Give him some time. Give him some time to develop a little bit more. Don't rush him into the starting 11 unless you really, really need to put him in the starting 11. But that's just where I sit. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jayden on Wednesday. But if it is Brad, I kind of feel like it is Brad. But I know it's really, to me, a coin flip at this point.
I'll say this too, really quick. We talk about his athleticism. I was just looking at the stats, and so he had 5 shots last night that he had to actually defend. This is not including, going up and catching balls out of the air and doing other goalkeeper tasks, but 5 shots. The header, couldn't do anything about. No goalkeeper in the world is going to get to that. I mean, it was a good header. You had the one shot that was kind of like a little daisy cutter that he was able to, scoop up real easy. The other 3 were all diving saves, and they were all right in the middle of the net, coming at an angle. But they were all 3 diving saves. So that's impressive. I mean, he got called on in ways I guess you could kind of liken it to being thrown into the fire. I mean, it wasn't like, the meme of the dude getting shot over and over again like 150,000 times, but like this was a good test, a good confidence booster, I think, too, for him. So yeah, I mean, give him the time. I'm all about it. We've been saying for the longest time that he needs more minutes. He needs to kind of be introduced to the first team. I think if he keeps his head on straight and keeps kind of the work ethic he has, which is phenomenal, then yeah, he'll be here for a long time. Or somebody's going to come and pay a lot of money for him.
Yeah, no doubt. So first impressions of Jayden Hibbert in MLS, that is, were positive. I think very few people will have something negative to say about him and his performance. It remains to be seen whether he starts on Wednesday in place of Brad Gazan, depending on how that cheek feels. Yeah. Have you guys ever fractured a cheek before?
I have not.
Not a cheek.
Fractured my wrist. I haven't fractured a cheek.
I don't know how I could handle a fractured cheek. I mean, these professional athletes, I mean, they are much more athletic than we are. As a higher pain tolerance.
Turn the other cheek. Sorry.
Well played.
I'm out.
Well played.
I'm out.
Henry, I appreciate the joke, by the way, even if Tyler didn't. ScarsandSpikes.com, by the way, go there, get our coverage of Atlanta United, of course, a recap of Toronto FC, Tyler's first reaction. My piece on Jayden Hibbert is up there. Henry, he's running a lot of great stuff on that has gotten national attention, so that's great to see. It also has a link to our store. Get a hat, get a T-shirt, get a drink glass, get a coffee mug, get all kinds of Scars and Spikes merchandise at our store. There's a link to the store on our website, scarsandspikes.com. Patreon.com/scarsandspikes, the best way to support Atlanta United coverage, independent Atlanta United coverage, starting at $1.17 a month. Gets you access to our Discord, gets you access to special coverage, special Q&A, special videos that you won't get anywhere else. So go check that out. I think that's it. That's my little plug for everything we do, coverage-wise, for Scars and Spikes. Of course, we covered the match Wednesday as well against Chicago Fire. But we still have some more to talk about against Toronto FC, gentlemen.
Interestingly, I will say this because Omar bringing up that the Twos just scored. Rodrigo Neri, Javier Armas with the assist, and Javier Armas, who somehow avoided being sent off
He talked himself out of a red card somehow.
Yeah.
Is there VAR in MLS Next?
No,
Okay, because
not anymore.
it's weird.
Not
He
yet.
was shown the red, and then he goes and talks to the ref for a bit, and then after like a few like couple minutes of them talking, the ref changes the red for a yellow.
That's funny.
And so we were joking in the chat, like, did this guy just negotiate
That's funny.
that red card?
So he got the assist, Neary with the goal, but I also Noah Cobb was subbed out at halftime. Caden Moore coming in, which indicates to me they're being very conservative with his time. You have obviously a quick turnaround for the first team, and Efrain got plenty of time. I would imagine maybe we see Noah Cobb start on Wednesday.
That's a good shout. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. Noah needs minutes with the first team, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. Luke Brennan. I mean, we were talking about Luke Brennan just a little bit earlier, of course, winning the penalty, and he kind of joked that if he's on the training ground, he goes right through the contact. I think it's maybe a 2-0 Atlanta United match or something like that. He just plays right through the contact, but his most extended time with Atlanta United in a while, 25 minutes. And certainly his playing time could increase with Edwin Mosquera now loaned out to Millonarios. That opens the door for Luke, right, to see even more action, see even more playing time. And if he's able to foster the time that he's given, that just continues to have his star rise. We already mentioned the quote by Dyla saying that he's one of the best 19-year-old players in the country, and it's up to him to show that as he gets opportunities, presumably with Atlanta United. Maybe another opportunity on Wednesday against Chicago Fire.
Maybe, and I'm going to give you another opportunity to pronounce that club's name because
Millonarios.
Okay,
did I pronounce it correctly that time?
Millonarios.
Millonarios.
There you go.
Got it that time.
Yeah, as the resident Colombian, I feel it's my responsibility to make sure we're pronouncing these names right. So, but yeah, absolutely. Here comes another opportunity for Luke Brennan on Wednesday. I kind of dropped it in our Discord, which, by the way, shout out to the Scarves and Spikes Discord. Yes. Join the Patreon so y'all can be part of the community that we're building over there.
Yes.
I dropped the lineup that I would like to see. I wouldn't call it my predicted 11 because I don't think that's what Dyla's going to go with, but I would like to see Brennan start. I think, given his comments on Brennan where he said he hasn't really gotten a whole lot of chances, but when he's gotten them, he's been good. And I'm paraphrasing, by the way. He's taken the chance, and that game was a chance that he took. And Dyla also dropped this little bit, which I thought was interesting. He's given. I gotta find the actual quote, but I'm paraphrasing here again.
I'll pull it up. I can pull it up.
Go ahead and pull it up. But he basically mentioned. Do you have it?
No, not yet. But go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He basically talked about other players have played, that he's given other players opportunities and they haven't really performed.
That's what, I know the quote you're talking about. That's what kind of caught my eye or caught my ear as well when I was sitting in the press conference and taking a look back at the transcript. He said, and I quote, "I like what I see with the younger players coming up now. We talk about getting better. And if you don't get a response from the older players, essentially give it to the youngsters because they want something." And he called out Matt Edwards, called out Jayden Hibbert, called out Luke Brennan. So maybe a message being sent to the older players saying, listen, you guys, and I'll couple this too with some comments that he made on the training ground. Henry, you were there, and I think it was Sam that asked him, asked Dyla, but essentially he said, you know what, a guy like, and kind of staring to Mihai, a guy like Enia Mihai brings leadership, brings a voice in the locker room, is vocal, and I feel like those two comments kind of you compare them with each other, and Ronnie Dyla saying, I'm not happy with some of the way some of these players are coming on the pitch, like they're entitled, like they can just just cash in the paycheck make a paycheck and walk off the pitch. And that's what we're seeing with these Atlanta United players. And that's what we said time and time again. We see players like Noah Cobb. We see players like Efraim Morales. We see players like Luke Brennan come on the pitch. And they show that desire. Jayden Hibbert, too. They show that desire. They show that want to. They show that edge that you don't see with the older players. And, it's troubling. It's troubling. It certainly speaks to maybe some of the mindset of these players, and Ronnie Dyler really just saying the quiet part out loud, saying, essentially what we've seen, for months and really for years for this team. But as it relates to Hibbert, or as it relates to Brennan, of course, can he take those opportunities? Can he take those chances when they come his way? And I thought he was good in the 25 minutes plus stoppage time that he received against Toronto FC. And, Luke is another player that needs more time with the first team, because he's been kind of stuck in that purgatory between the twos and the first team and not really gotten his chance to shine. Now he does, with Mosquera now having been loaned out.
Yeah. He, we talk about the hunger a lot of times, and you see it with what I would say there's 7 or 8 players that are actively trying to work their way into like consistent minutes with the first team. And every time they get that opportunity, they show out in the best way that they can. That doesn't mean they're going to go out. They don't go out and score a goal every game, every opportunity, but they give you a shift, like a real shift. And like, it's like some of the comments Zil saying, I've said for 3 years now, he deserves to be in the MLS roster. Like, he's talking about Efraim Morales. Like, he's one of them. Efraim, Noah, Luke Brennan, Chonqui.
You see Matt Edwards.
Yeah. I mean, Jayden Hibbert. Like, there's so many of them. They get the opportunities, and you can tell they want it. They want it, like, badly. And then you see the body language of, oh, wow. It's now
Go on.
It's now 2-1 in this Columbus Atlanta United 2 game, and there's a red card. Anyway, you see kind of like the body language that some of the first team members exhibit. And by first team, I mean the ones that are playing all the time.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't exude pride for the badge. It doesn't exude like, I am here to fight for this club. But then you see these kids that have come up through the academy or whatever pipeline, and it's just there. Like, they're hungry. And so, yeah, I'm glad that Dyla essentially just came out and said what we've been saying for months, really years.
Yeah.
But we didn't think this season was going to be this way. So there's a little bit of a buffer there, but we've been saying it for the longest time. Like, they need time because they show that they deserve it. And I'm glad he just came out and said it.
Yeah. And, again, it's nothing that we, the fans, and it's not saying that Dyla is, doesn't see it going on, but it's something that we, the fans, have been talking about for years, haven't we? I mean, you just kind of, just, it is, I want to see more. I want to see more. Sure, all 3 of us want to see more. I want to shout out, by the way, Bruno, who said, are we talking about yesterday's game? It's a tough game, a lot of good moments, cohesive offense and goals. The unified team are the best. Shout out to the unified team, being Toronto FC's unified team, to remain, guys, unbeaten. To remain unbeaten, over the past couple of years. So shout out to them. Shout out to the work that the unified team is doing.
If you haven't watched any of the unified team matches, by the way, you're missing out.
Do it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're great support. And shout out to the supporters for backing them all the time. So we're talking about good, guys. Let's talk about bad. Saba Lubjanica, just another tough performance and not a good way for him.
It's weird talking about Saba because I still feel like we come back to this. He plays better on the right, and this game it was just rough for him. Just wasn't really getting his passes right. Wasn't really getting on the end of balls sent to him, and taking a few errant touches. Kind of not really making the most of his time on the ball. And it's unfortunate because he, he's one of the dogs. I feel like he's one of the dogs on this team. He really does want to do well for this team, and he leads the team in assists right now. He's got 6, and so
Yeah.
I just feel for the guy. But it was a bad game for him. And once Luke Brennan came on, you really saw the difference, because Luke Brennan, he got a few touches in the box, and you know, I mean, the pen that he generated was great, but also he was actually receiving the ball, turning towards goal, won a corner, did a few things that Saba really just wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And Saba doesn't, you know, he was getting constantly cooked by whoever their right back was. I think it was,
Right.
I don't even know who it was, but he was cooking him constantly. And it was just a rough game for him. And
yeah,
I'm not gonna say too much bad stuff about Saba, because I actually like him and I think he should play more, but he needs to play more on the right side, because on the left he's just uncomfortable. He doesn't look as good as he normally is, and yeah, it was just a rough game for him.
There was a moment that kind of frustrated me with Saba, where he had the ball on his foot. He was on the left side. I think it was Richie Larea who was the right back, but he had the ball on his foot, and instead of going for the cross, he cut it back, and it's like, Saba, you got to hit that cross first time into the box and try to make something happen. So it sort of goes back, Henry, to what you were saying about Saba. You know, just the drop in form has been kind of frustrating for him.
Yeah, I think he's. I think a lot of the players on this team, it's not just Saba. I think a lot of the players on this team are kind of being victimized by the attempt to figure something out. You know, guys are having to get played out of position because guys aren't working out the way you initially thought they would. And this goes for Saba. This goes for Miggy. It comes back to Alexi. A lot of them, like those three, really are this weird Bermuda Triangle of crap that's just not working properly.
I think that's a good analogy, because they get the ball, really nothing happens. It just disappears.
It's wild. And so yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna have to bench for at least for some time, either, this is what Zil saying in the chat, bench Miggy or Saba. He's saying, start Luke on the left, Saba on the right. I mean, at this point, I'm not opposed to it. I've said it for months now, which is wild to say, but like, you can't do any worse than you're doing right now. You literally pulled out a point last night because of a very lucky penalty shout and a goal in the 101st minute, essentially. Like, that's not, it's not that's an improvement. You just got a little bit of luck that went your way finally.
Mind you, that penalty was almost saved.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I was like, if Latte Lath does not score this penalty, like he's never going to score again.
Cursed.
This way this season.
Wow.
But yeah, it is kind of like a heart in your throat moment for me. But we talk about Saba. We have to talk about Miranchuk again. Another performance for him. I feel like that's a good term that we can use for him. Yeah. that's just my comment on him. It's just this is your number 10. I put an air quote, number 10, and he's not doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, I saw these comments in the chat, like Nick saying it feels like a huge disconnect between Latte Lath and the team, saying, I don't know whose side, but it feels like he's always a step ahead or behind where the ball is going to be. I think that's part of it. Like, we talk about consistency, and there's a very fine line of like trying to force your team to do the same thing over and over again to build consistency, and then also trying something different because what you're doing is not working.
Yeah.
It's a very frustrating situation. And honestly, like Ronnie Dyla is in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation until he finds the right, password to put in to get it all working right. Yeah. So if you have to temporarily bench Miggy for a half why you start off a game a certain way and then maybe you make some changes. And I mean, you're essentially fielding two different teams in a game at that point. And that is a strategy, right? Like if it has to be that you start off with 2 or your 3 DPs and then you bring on one of those DPs in the second half and make a couple of tactical adjustments to finish out a game.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a way that Atlanta United has to play right now. I don't know, but like you have to do something. You have to figure it out because you have $50 million worth of attacking players out there that are, it's not just struggling to score goals. Like there are players in this league that have almost scored as many or had as many goal contributions as Atlanta has had goals this season.
You're right.
That's crazy.
That's
Right. That's
Yeah,
exactly. That's one right at the top of the list.
So yeah, I don't care who you bench at this point. Like I want Miggy to succeed. I really do. Alexi, I feel like we've had more of a sample size, at least over the past calendar year, without the recency bias and all that. I don't think he's been good enough, but neither has Miggy, in the way that he's being played. Latte Lath hasn't been good enough. Saba hasn't been good enough. So what's frustrating too is like one of them will have a pretty decent game and then the other ones won't, like none of them all just have a good game together. And that's where it's like, where's this?
We still haven't seen that.
I need y'all to go
like 20, 21 matches into the season. We have yet to see all 3 DPs perform at the same time, which is
so funny because at the beginning of the season, when I was in Florida for one of the preseason matches, I asked Ronnie Dyla, like, you're down here, you're in Florida, you're away. This is kind of like your full on preseason camp. What are y'all doing as far as like team building type stuff? Because with Pineda, we saw the rock, paper, scissors championship and all the other crap that they did. And he was just like, I've never really been that kind of guy that like is going to send all the players up in the middle of the woods on a mountain and tell them to like fight their way out. Like that's just not me. And at this point, I'm like, I think we need to reevaluate. Maybe we should send them all somewhere.
Maybe
send them on Lake Lanier.
Them. Yeah, don't. No, don't. Yeah,
not Lake Lanier.
Bad idea.
If they make it back, they will be the tightest bunch ever.
Jeez, man.
Yes.
If I mean, they do need, especially the core, the 3 DPs, right? Like they really need to just like sit down and I don't know, have a barbecue together or something, like just like hang out and learn a little bit about each other and really bond. Zilf saying that Tyler wants the whole team to die. That's the point we've reached, isn't it?
Right.
But no, I mean, you'll be all right.
But no, I mean, I for me, there's this whole dilemma about Moranchuk and Miggy, and who do you bench, who do you start, at the 10 and everything. And I've been very, very critical of Miggy. There's one guy that hasn't been on in a while, so I'm kind of worried about him, but he always reminds me that I criticized him that one time. Yeah, but I'm actually gonna give him some credit. Last game, this Toronto game, I think he did decently. I mean, I don't see any plays in that game where he was just like outright terrible. I think he helped advance the play a little bit and helped the team actually play a little bit quicker, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I mean, I thought he helped the team put together some decent sequences, and I, for one, would like to see him play at the 10 with, you bench Moranchuk, who for me was atrocious in the last game. Just so many misplaced passes, just cannot handle pressure. And
DP, mind you.
Yeah, a DP who cannot handle pressure.
Yeah.
Doesn't pass well under pressure. Can't advance the ball under pressure. He does not have the technical ability to beat defenders. He gives you maybe a few decent long balls, but that's about it. And for me, like, that's not the 10 you want. I would much rather see Miggy at the 10, who's a little bit more technical. He doesn't have the explosive pace, but he still has the ability to get past defenders a little bit, maneuver in tight areas and potentially get the ball in decent spots from which you can do some damage, I'd like to see that a little bit more.
Yeah,
Miggy at the 10,
oh.
Sabo at the right, and screw it, Luke Brennan on the left. That's what I'd like to see for this Wednesday game. We're not going to see it, but I would love to see it.
I'll push back just a little bit on Elmer on the 10. I mean, we saw that, but we didn't see much improvement, though, right?
What the one game we saw him at the 10?
Well,
The
it was the
Dallas
one game. It was multiple games, still, right?
It was the Dallas
Multiple games that
game.
we saw him
And
at
well,
the
actually,
10.
the first time we saw him at the 10. Sorry, the first time we saw him at the 10 was the NYCFC 4-1 comeback win. That was the first time we saw him there for like 30 minutes, and it was like, oh well, that is game state. Everyone said it was just game state, and that kind of pissed me off a little bit because I think he deserves a little bit of credit for stuff that he did. And then we saw him in the Dallas game, and yeah, it wasn't a good game for him. But I don't think 2 games is a sample size, especially not when we have a large sample size of Moranchuk playing the 10 this season. That just he has never really been consistent. He's never really shown to be worth a DP slot to me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, I look at him and it's like I don't think that he should be the 10 for this team. If we've seen him several games now, just not really do enough to earn that spot. And Miggy's a player that we know has done it before. He said before that is his best spot.
Right.
I would give him another run at that spot and give him another opportunity. If you've given this many to Moranchuk, Miggy at least deserves a couple more, I think.
Yeah. And with Moranchuk, it's just a couple of games that we've seen him. I mean, we point to a few matches and say, hey, he had a good run of form, but where was that the entire season? So that's the frustrating part about Alexi that I don't understand. We're not seeing just the play that we need to see from him, and it's frustrating. Maybe we do need to bench him to I've never, and I don't know, I've never been a hey, just bench this guy and send a message kind of person, but maybe you do need to sit somebody down and say, hey, this is not good enough, and we need to get something out here that maybe it kind of runs against the grain of what we usually do, but it's just for the better of the team. And if the player understands it, they'll understand. And if they don't understand it, they kind of push back and become a cancer in the locker room because of it. They need to go.
I agree. I think, and it kind of goes back to the conversation we had last week. Like, it's hard to just absolutely say that most of the players on this team are legitimately safe from a move. I think at the end of the day, this team has to figure out how they want to play. And either it needs to be, this kind of possession-ish based playing from the back, whether it's through the middle, out wide, but you're playing out of the back kind of situation, or you need to be a counterattacking transition team. Defensively, this season, you've actually shown that you can be pretty okay in a way that could allow you to then really, really unleash the speed that you have to be a transition counterattacking football team. Once that's decided, though, either you have to put Alexi Moranchuk as a central midfielder of some sort and put Miggy kind of at the 10, or you have to move on from one of them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's because if you're going to play counterattacking transition football, because I think that's really how this team should be playing, considering they have one of the fastest guys in the world up top. Alexi doesn't have the speed to keep up, but if he's playing as that connecting piece between the front and the back, then he can play that role. We know he can play that role. But when he's to Henry's point, when he's playing the role of a true number 10, a guy that should be able to take on guys 1v1 and and also hit goals occasionally, blah blah blah, like, he's not doing that. Miggy still has the speed, though it's not what it was in 2018. I get that, but like he's still got speed to beat guys and the technical ability to get around guys. When we had Michael Parkhurst on a couple of months ago, he said, when you have a guy like Miggy on the team, and he said the same thing about Latte Lath, when you have these types of guys on the team, defensively, our thought process was we're going to do a little bit more so that they can be positioned to go do their job, which is to hit like lightning on a counterattack.
Yeah.
Right now, this team doesn't, in my opinion, have a true identity. They're not playing like they have an identity. And I just don't know that once that kind of gets settled, you're going to be able to have all three of these DPs on the team at the same time, playing the way that they're being played right now.
Yeah. Any other key talking points that we need to pull from Saturday's game? I feel like we hit the big ones. Hibbert, we talked about. Brennan, we talked about to some extent. Sava, Miranchuk, Miggy. I feel like we hit on the big topics. Anything else that you kind of left out that we want to hit on that
For the love
is
of
a
God.
burning topic?
For the love of God,
Yes.
bench Brooks Lennon.
So
Okay, hold on.
Go on.
He legitimately nearly made me crash out yesterday. The way that he was like, how do you misplace your crosses so bad, man? I mean, he used to be an elite crosser in MLS.
exactly.
And now
it's just stunning.
Can't hit the broadside of a barn.
It's just stunning.
The guy, all his crosses go over everyone. They go wild. He tries to switch to play, and it's just a terrible pass. I mean, his effort too. I mean, his body language on the field. It looks to me like the guy's given up. It looks to me like he doesn't care as much as he did before. And it's insane.
Change of scenery. He needs a change of scenery.
I think he does. I think he just needs somewhere else. He's been here since what, like 2020, 2021, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
He's been here for a while. I think at this point, it's better for him. It's better for the club to just go ahead and send him somewhere else where he can kind of, I guess, reinvent himself, find just, I guess, a different.
He needs to go somewhere he can find somebody at the back post.
You'll get a return for him. You'll get a return for him. There's still talent, but his form has just dive-bombed.
And it's the body language too. And it stuns me that a guy who, I mean, a couple years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, we were talking about him being potentially like, oh, why is he not being called up to the national team?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, I really want to make the national team. You know, I'm working for that and everything. And I think he's just that's not the drive anymore. There's something going on, and you know, I wish him all the best, and he really is a great guy, but man, he really pissed me off last night when he was because
I feel like
man, like I watched it and it just wasn't getting better, and there was a point where I was just like, dear God, take him off the field, and he played the whole game. By the way, he was never subbed off, and I was done with him about halfway through that game.
Who do you put in for him?
Matt Edwards. Zero hesitation, Matt Edwards. He's worked his rear off. He's played a couple times in the position. He hasn't really made any huge glaring mistakes. I would give him a shot because right now for Brooks, I would say so. I say he could play the position. He gets forward. He's threatening in the attack. He comes back. He defends. I really think that he would work at that position, and he would, I think, give you a little bit more than what Brooks is giving you right now, which is, I think he's 50% at this point, 50% of what we knew him to be. He's the club's leading assister. He's operating at 50% right now to me.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tyler. To a point that Tyler and I have been discussing. Yeah, just last year. Yeah, was it last year, 2023? Tyler was talking about U.S. men's national team.
It was the end of 2023 going into 2024.
End of 23 going into 2024, and that was kind of what he was looking for, to get involved in that discussion and get on Greg Berhalter's radar. So he certainly that certainly has gone out the window. Like it's especially with Pochettino now in place, that's gone out the window. So, but that's no excuse. You still have to show up. You still have to. And it's not to say he's not showing up, but it's just the form, the depth in form has just been just sensational and frustrating. And like I said, he needs a change of scenery. He needs to play somewhere else entirely, like still where there's with somebody at the back post or not. He just needs to play somewhere else. Period, where he can flourish and develop and become the player that he was for several years for Atlanta United. Because at this point, that's completely out the window. It's just a very frustrating thing to see, and it's you need so much more quality on the right hand side, and you're not getting it. Whether that you put Matt Edwards out there and a chance to improve, or you put Ronald Hernandez out there, you have to do something because you're getting nothing that you need from Brooks Lennon at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets to a point where players just need a change of scenery. I mean, Brooks, since he's been here, has gone through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is his 6th coach.
Yeah.
Counting both Rob Valentino's.
Yeah.
You just need I think a change of scenery. And it's not that he'll wherever he goes, I think he'll fit in just fine. I really do.
Yeah.
But it's just time to shake it up a little bit. And I like him a lot. I really do. And I hate it for him because he was so like focused in those moments where he was trying to push for those minutes with the national team. And
yeah.
I mean, he was like, the teacher, I mean, the kid that is like trying to get extra credit. He's like staying after.
Yeah. Watching film.
Watching video, of like some of the best fullbacks in the world and how they defend and everything else. And he had a really good 2023, but on both sides of the ball. In 2024, things kind of started to dip. Like there was times where he got cooked in 1v1 defending, and his crosses just were I don't even know,
Yeah.
And then this year, it's just dropped off immensely.
Complacency. It's complacency.
He's
gotten too comfortable where he is.
There's a mixture of a lot, I'm sure, but at the same time, like I think it's just time to shake up the career a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. What else? What else do we miss out? What else do we leave out from Saturday? Maybe major
Fortune with crutches playing instead of Lennon at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. That's
guys. Emmanuel Latte Lath scored a goal for the first time in 3 months.
He did. He could have.
It was a penalty. It was very nearly saved, and that would have probably been soul crushing. But do y'all think that this is going to help him kind of open the floodgates and bring bring his confidence back a little bit, and maybe he can start bagging in goals again like we had him at the beginning of the season?
Man, I hope so. I really do.
I'm going to say no. Just so the universe does the opposite of what I'm saying.
Evil Tyler.
I don't know, man. I just I got to see it to believe it. Yeah. He's had opportunities the past couple of matches, and like that one that missed by like 6 inches out of the post in the first half last night was like, it was crushing to me because I was like, oh, this is it. And the fact that Saba was like a half a step behind just to try to poke it in, like that's when I put out the tweet. I was like, dude, I don't know. You got to go a deep search of the training ground and find.
It's like the epitome of the season. Epitome of the season, right
like,
there.
burn whatever voodoo doll has been placed and get rid of it, please.
The offside goal, the very close shave. It was insane.
Yeah,
the luck at this point.
Yep.
Another that's like what the second offside goal he's had.
So many at this
span
point
of the month. It's just I disagree with Tyler. I think it will get him off the snide. I think he will hopefully go on a good goal scoring streak for Atlanta United down the stretch here, as they need to play. We've talked about Supporter Shield winning football the rest of the way. How many points do they need? How many points do you need, Tyler?
Well,
down the stretch?
It was before last night. They needed to win between 9 and 11 of their final 14 matches.
Now you have 13 matches.
Now
Right?
you have 13. At least you got a point out of it. But yeah,
Mm.
No, I
Not what
disagree.
we
Though
needed.
I disagree. I think he'll score it on Wednesday. I think he scores on Wednesday.
You think
I
he
really
scores
do.
on Wednesday?
I think he scores on Wednesday.
All
I
right.
really do. That's my prediction. Early prediction. Latte Lath scores a goal from open play on Wednesday. I'll say that. From
That would
open
make
play.
me giggly.
No, for sure. For sure. What else? Latte Lath. We talked about that. We talked about Lennon. We talked about Saba, Alexi Miggy. What else? I feel like real quick. Bartek Slish, good to see him back. I thought he had a really good match. Created what should have been that first Atlanta goal. Had a really good pass into Latte Lath, and Latte Lath scores. He was offside, but the vision and the passing by Bartek in that moment to set up that goal, what should have been goal, was terrific.
And had a what would have been a banger of a shot. And
had a really good shot
the
from
real
distance.
first
Yeah.
attempt on goal for Atlanta the entire night. And I was like, dude, give me more of that, please.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Take that shot every single time you get the opportunity.
Bangers only.
Yeah.
I think it's worth bangers only, right? Why not?
Test the keeper, do something. Like, Latte Lath's going to be there in the box. Maybe he gets a rebound. I don't know. But, like, keep doing that, please. Please.
Yeah. I mean,
Dude.
Zilf likes to remind me and everyone that Slisz was originally in Poland in 8. And honestly, that's probably his best position at this point. I just think defensively he doesn't give you a whole lot.
Yeah.
I want to say he's not really an enforcer. He's not really, a ball-winning midfielder per se. He's more of the guy that can help you, I guess, move it upfield a little bit. His passing is pretty good. And you saw it with that 3 ball. And it's not the first 3 ball he's played this season. He's played a couple already.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is, I would rather have him a little bit further up the field in that sense, be the kind of box to box kind of guy that helps you advance the play, and see a little bit more of that. And I love that he's taking these long shots, and he's really going for it, taking the risk. This team needs that sometimes. You never know. Maybe 9 times out of 10 it's saved. Maybe it's that one time and it goes in, and it could be the difference between 1 point, 3 points, or no points. You know what I'm saying? So
he's had a couple this year.
Yeah. So good on him. Hopefully it continues, and we'll see what happens as far as how this team looks this week. That midfield, I'm trying to remember. Did he play the whole 90 in this game?
Yeah.
He did? Okay. Because that might make me a little bit nervous about him playing 90 minutes on Wednesday. He probably won't. But you have Will Riley. So
he missed the match last week, though. He missed DC,
right.
the yellow card accumulation, so I don't think I'm concerned about it.
That's true. Anyway, I guess we'll see. I'm not too concerned, though. Will Riley is a really good backup to have on the bench.
Indeed. Bangers only from Bartek. Does he score on Wednesday, by the way? Does he get a goal on Wednesday?
Bartek? Sure, why not? Let's go with it.
Who scores on Wednesday? Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because
no, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to say that because we're going to leave predictions till later. But guys, Atlanta United finally back at home. 3 matches in a row. Chicago, Charlotte, Derby on Saturday. We'll be there, by the way, for a pre-match show. 5:30 p.m. at the Nest on 4 inside the Sydney Bay Hilton Hotel on Saturday. Don't come on Wednesday because we will be there. We'll be at the stadium. And then another match against Seattle, sort of the Seattle-Atlanta derby.
See what, if anything, they do for Garth.
Yeah,
at that match. I'm hoping they do something. And again, if you have missed it, pray for Garth Lagerwey. Your thoughts, prayers, whatever you may do. He has a cancer diagnosis, which thankfully, at least they said that it was positive and that he should come back, completely 100%. But it's never good news, never fun news to hear that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
Just keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and hopefully he will be back sooner than later for sure.
We got MLS Monday coming up. Yes, I certainly agree with that sentiment, Tyler. I think everyone in Atlanta United community shares that sentiment with you. We do have MLS Monday coming up. We're going to talk about maybe Rodrigo DePaul at Inter Miami. We're going to talk about FC Cincinnati, Hellas Real Derby. We're going to talk about that. Talk about both sides of the table, Eastern and Western Conference, and a whole lot more. So join us there on YouTube. We'll have it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart afterwards. By the way, if you're listening to Scarves and Spikes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart, leave a review, leave a comment, 5 stars if you can. Definitely helps us out as we try to grow our following here. If you're watching on YouTube, whether live or after the fact, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and share our content as well. Am I missing anything before I get to our social
Monday,
media?
MLS Monday, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock on YouTube. And then, of course, again, afterwards on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. Or you can watch the replay, of course, on YouTube as well. I'm at SH Wrights on X and Blue Sky. SidH.soccer on Instagram and Threads. Henry S. at H.A. Higuita on essentially all major social media platforms. Tyler at ATL Pilgrim on essentially all social media platforms. Scarves and Spikes collectively. Scarves, so letter and Spikes on X. Scarves and Spikes everywhere else. Gentlemen, I think that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining us. Back home on Wednesday.
Indeed.
We'll
for the first time in,
of course,
a month and a half.
It has been so long since Atlanta United have played a match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And remember, guys, Atlanta has won back-to-back matches at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Be a really good time to keep that up.
It would be an excellent time to keep that up. I would love it to be 5 matches in a row won at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, because you need wins.
Yeah, they got to win these. there's no other way around it. Got to win these.
No excuses. No excuses.